Yo, what's going on, YouTube world? It's Cruising Nation 3 coming at you again, live in the Dawg Cage. Where my dogs at? What's going on, YouTube world? The dog, Smoke Dog, with us once again. Listen, we are at week 2 of the NCAA football season, 12-team playoff first time. Listen, before we get started, man, we won't let Smoke run off the top 10 teams right now so we can figure out where we at right now of the top 10 teams. Smoke, roll off them top 10 teams, what the top 10 look like.
You got Georgia, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Missouri, Tennessee, Penn State, Oregon, and then Miami.
Yes, man. So over this past week, going back to week 1, we had some good games going on week 1. Week 2, we had the big Texas versus Michigan game that a lot of people tuned in at noon, so a lot of people was able to check that game out. Texas absolutely came out in dominating fashion and absolutely destroyed Steve Sarkisian, his play calling, his understanding of defenses, understanding how to get his guys involved, understanding how to use his quarterback, understanding how to use the run game and the passing game and mix it up, man. His movement before the play to manipulate defenses is by none. Nobody, it's hard to see any offensive coordinators doing it like Steve Sarkisian. They go up to Michigan and route them boys. Michigan had no answer for their offense. So we got to give it up, man, for the Texas Longhorns, looking like one of the premier teams in college football so far. Smoke, what you think of Texas starting off the season?
Man, I think so far after 2 weeks, just looking at the way they played Michigan, how they played in their first game, on the offense and defense side of the ball, special team as well. To me, they look by far like the number 1 team in the country right now.
Listen, so Texas has surprised me. A lot of it was a lot of questions about them. They ain't got into the SEC schedule quite yet. You know what I mean? That's coming up here soon. They do still got to play Georgia. I think they still got to play Oklahoma. We're gonna see how Oklahoma pan out once, I say around about week 5, week 6. But for the first 2 weeks to start the season off, me personally, I think we got to put Miami up there. Cam Moore got them boys rolling right now. They ain't played the strength of their schedule yet, but I think Miami got some games coming up here in the next, especially 3 to 4 weeks. That's going to give them a little test. I think they got Cal coming up here soon. I think they got Louisville week 6 or 7, maybe. I can't know exactly. They might have Georgia Tech on the schedule. Georgia Tech did go down this weekend to Syracuse. But me right now, my top 5 teams is going to be Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Miami, and I'll say Ole Miss right now. They're my top 5 teams right now going into the season. I know some people are probably a little down after Alabama this week, but last year at this time, Alabama struggled versus South Florida last year. I just think sometimes some teams just have your number. Sometimes teams just come to play against you. That's no knock against Alabama. You're going to have those games. The transfer portal done spread the talent out all over the field. And I think that offense has always given Alabama problems. Spreading them out so far, you got to remember, that's the same offensive coordinator when he was at Tennessee that gave Nick Saban problems that beat the Alabama team. Spreading them out so wide with the doubles sets almost to the sideline, getting your boxes weak, so you have to widen out. That open up run lanes. They did have opportunities to be able to run, so that puts a lot of pressure on your defense. So, man, right now I think Alabama is still gonna run through the SEC until otherwise. I know a lot of people love Georgia, but listen, Georgia ain't won the SEC. I think Georgia won the SEC one time in their dominance. Other than that, it's been Alabama. And then you had that 1 year with LSU who won it. So right now, the SEC to me is going to go through Alabama. I think through the ACC, it's going to go through Miami. I think the Big Ten is going to go through Ohio State. And, man, I think the Pac-12, I'll say the Big 12 I meant, the Big 12 might be either Utah or dang, man, Utah. I'm going to just roll with Utah. I'm going to say Utah come out of the Big 12 right there. What you think, Smoke?
Man, I'm about spot on with you, man. I think there's only one team, that over the last 2 weeks that done really surprised me. And what I really like is their defensive line, the way they're running around on defense. I think they got a good offense. I think personally, after the first few weeks, they got probably one of the best. They almost like a Texas to me when you're looking at offense and decent defensive side of the ball, and that's USC. I don't think they're getting enough credit right now. They had 2 good weeks in a row of playing ball. I like them boys they got on their defensive line, and I also too like that new defensive coordinator they have. So I'm actually looking forward to them really making some noise in the Big Ten and putting them up there as a team that could actually beat Ohio State.
Oh man, hey, and I'm glad you brought up USC. As I was looking at the Big 12, the Big 10, I mean, and think about teams in the Big 10, I forgot all about USC. So that's on my part. That's my fault right there. USC has looked dominant. I really like what Lincoln Riley done did on the defensive side of the ball. He found a defensive coordinator who got those guys playing downhill. He got those guys playing aggressive. Those guys, USC problem last year is lane discipline. They won in their gaps a lot of the time. They got out of their gaps a lot of the time. So for Lincoln Riley to say, listen, man, for me to get to the level I need to be, and for me to be considered one of the best college coaches in the NCAA, we know my offense gonna do things. Miller Moss is absolute gem. He throwing dimes. That offense gonna always be humming. But Lincoln Riley problem has always been defense, which teams who have an explosive offense, their problem is always their defense. So Lincoln Riley got USC balling right now. We got to see how they look in conference play. Man, so USC is a team that I got my eyes on. I think can make noise. The only team to me, because I'm very disappointed in Oregon right now. So in the Big Ten, the only team to me that can rival Ohio State will be USC. What you think, Dale?
Yeah, I think USC, but we'll see too how Penn State just up and down, kind of like what we always say. But like Ole Miss, you just can't trust them until they really beat them. But I think that conference. But then again, we got to look at too Ohio State's schedule. Ohio State really only played Oregon this year. That's the only game they really got on their schedule, according to. But I got to go back and check out their schedule because I think Ohio State they play. And I know they just play they play good against Colorado, but Nebraska looked really good to me too, man, on offense and defense. You look at they first 1, 2, 3, like for example, Ohio State schedule. They got Akron, they got Western Michigan, they got Marshall this week, then they got Michigan State next week, and then after that they get to Iowa, Oregon. But I can't trust Iowa because they let them boys come back and beat them this past week. Their offense was looking a little bit better, but the second half it got back terrible. I think Oregon's still going to be a tough game just because they're going to Oregon. But the game I got penciled, as another sleeper team in that conference, just with that quarterback and they got a good defense is Nebraska, man.
Nebraska. Yeah, man. Nebraska, they play Ohio State week 8. Is it week 8?
1, 2, 3, week 4. 8? It's week 7.
Oh, week 7. So Nebraska should be 6-0 going into that game to me. Nebraska was our dark horse team coming into this season right here. They just picked up a big time win versus Colorado. Nebraska's schedule is lining up for them. I think by week 7, they'll be 6. To me, they should be 6-0 going into the Ohio State game. And that if they can knock off Ohio State, they can make some noise. I think they'll shoot up. Where they at right now? I think they was.
Yeah, they're like 20. I think it might be 22, but they got a favorable schedule though, Cruz. They got Northern Iowa this week. Then the following week they got Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. So they can be undefeated by the time they get to Ohio State. So really, pretty much after Ohio State, they got a tough schedule still. They got to play UCLA. They got to play USC and Wisconsin at the end of the year, but in Iowa. So they still got 5, 6 tough games on their schedule. But honestly, outside of Ohio State, I think the only team that probably can beat them the way that they're playing is USC.
And you absolutely correct about that. If they can find a way to beat one of those teams, that'll put themselves in position, especially in the Big Ten, to be able to put themselves in a position to be able to get a playoff spot to get in that 12 team. And if they can do that in Matt Rule's second year, man, that'd be big. I like what Matt Rule doing over there in Nebraska. He really building the culture. He really, really is digging on those high school kids. He really going house to house. He keeping the high school kids, keeping his offensive line straight. I think Nebraska, they got a young receiver. If they can go out and find another outside guy on the outside that could be a real number 1 receiver, I think Nebraska gonna be some problems coming up here with that quarterback at least having 2 more years after this year at that school, because I think he'll be gone after his 3rd year because he's a true freshman. So he done been paid 3 full years. So if you got Dylan Raiola for 3 more years, if you can get some weapons around that kid and keep your defense intact and keep your offense intact, that team, Nebraska, Matt Rule got a chance to make some noise coming up in these playoffs.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, listen, the elephant in the room is, though, man, after week 1 and 2, we did a podcast about 2 weeks ago before the season started. And a lot of Georgia Bulldog fans want to know, Smoke, what's your take on Georgia and what you've seen so far in the first 2 weeks? And are you willing to back down from saying that Georgia Bulldogs will lose 4 games this year? Because the Georgia Bulldog fans say they know you hanging from the cliff right now. It's not looking really good for you, but they're saying they got a kind heart. They saying they're not really in the business of watching people fall off cliffs. So they told me, Smoke, are you willing to reach up and reach your hand up for help and they can pull you off that cliff? Can they do that, or do you still see them lose the 4 games this year?
Nah, I still consider it to be 3 to 4, man. Because like I say, the first few games for Georgia gonna be cupcake games, man. But we even seen in that first half, even when they played Clemson, if Clemson would have had any hope of some type of offense, Georgia could have been in some trouble in that game. Even this last game they was playing, man. I don't think when they face a real SEC team that got a good offense and defense, Georgia ain't the same old Georgia team where they really can run up and down the field like that. I think they're gonna get a good test of it when they play Alabama. Also, too, when they play, because they still got to play Alabama, they got to play Texas, they got to play Ole Miss, they got to play Tennessee, and then the end of the year they got to finish up with Georgia Tech. So right now they're still those are 4 or 5 strong teams that I still feel like can get them.
Okay, man. Listen, to me, hey, listen, you my boy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ride with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm not going all the way off the cliff with you. Right now, Georgia team to beat. In the SEC, Georgia gonna still be the team to beat outside.
I disagree with that. I disagree. Alabama is the team to beat, not Georgia.
Wait. Listen,
and I got facts to prove that.
Okay.
All that we got to do, and anybody that want to do it, you just go look up the last 10 SEC champs.
Hey, if they don't believe,
the SEC comes through Alabama, regardless of what everybody want to say every year. The only way Georgia ever win a SEC championship game is something happened. We lose to Auburn at the end of the year and we don't make it to the SEC championship game. But other than that, the SEC come through Alabama. Everybody can say what they want about Georgia all day long. Those are just proven facts.
Oh, man. And we got to grow with you on there. I think Alabama, Georgia fans, Alabama have won, I think, the last, what that is.
Probably the last 10, 15, at least 10 times we done played Georgia, we done won except for that national championship game. But when you're talking about SEC championship game, we done won them. Like out of the last 10 years, and I'm just going back 10 years, I can go back farther than that. But the last 10 years, we done won 7 out of the 10. Georgia only won 1. And I think you got LSU and I forgot who else might have won it, maybe Auburn or someone. But in the last 10 years, that's it.
Okay, man, yeah. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying outside of Alabama, I still think the winner of that game this year, we coming up here in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks?
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And 2 weeks, the winner of the Alabama-Georgia game, I think is going to be the team to beat in the SEC. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I can agree and disagree. I got to give props where props due. Right now, and maybe they, I don't know, Michigan may not be the team we think they are. You know what I mean? I just don't know. But once I see Texas more get into, I don't want to give them that props yet until I really see them start to play some SEC team. Then I'll be able to give them a little bit better prop. But for me, I don't think we can just clearly say, hey, Alabama, Georgia. Because Alabama, Georgia, Texas, you got Missouri, you got Ole Miss. We got a lot of good football teams that's in the conference. But like I said, at the end of the day, if I had to pick and choose, not only just because I'm an Alabama fan, but it just go back to the history of it as well. Alabama is the champs of the SEC. Everything comes through Alabama. Regardless of how many props everybody want to give Georgia, it got to come through Alabama if they want to win it.
Woo, Georgia Bulldog fans. The Alabama Crimson Tide fan has spoken. He has facts to back it up. Hey, so man, y'all got to prove him wrong. Here in 2 weeks, Georgia and Alabama will go down. What a game gonna be played at?
It's gonna be played in Bryant Denny Stadium.
Oh man, it's gonna be played. Hold on, we gotta correct him on that. It's gonna be played in
You right.
Saving Benny Stadium. Georgia Bulldog fans, what y'all gonna do? Y'all have been brought to the table week 2 this year. Alabama said y'all will go down.
Oh, you know what, too? I just want to correct something, too, Cruz, because I remember last time we talked, there was a gentleman in your comments said something about me and my statue, right? What
Yes,
did
sir.
he say? Well, I don't want to be wrong what the gentleman said. So what was it that the man said?
Hold on.
Do you remember?
I can't remember exactly what he said,
Can you
but
paraphrase it for me then?
I think he said you. Oh man, I can't remember what he said.
Uh-huh.
I got to go back and look it up. But he gonna probably find this. He gonna probably see it,
Uh-huh.
and then he gonna get back to us.
Okay, I hope he do.
Oh man, right there, man. Listen, y'all know what you think of Lane Kiffin and how he got them Ole Miss guys rolling. How you think?
Man, I think Lane
What
Kiffin
up,
is a
Isaac?
great. Oh, yeah, man. I think Lane Kiffin is a great coach, man. Like I've been telling you, I think Lane Kiffin gonna hang in there and at Ole Miss until a good job do open up, maybe somewhere where he can get better talent. If it is eventually, Florida State don't keep playing good, like a Florida State or a Florida, I think he'll do very well at one of the schools, but they're gonna have to give him time. He's gonna need 3 or 4 years to be able to get his talent that he want in there. Because one thing about Lane gonna get him a quarterback no matter where he go at. So I think Lane time at Ole Miss is running short right now.
Now it's running short, not just because you saying he doing a bad job. You just thinking for Lane to be able to get to a national championship or get to the recognition he need to go to a bigger program. You saying?
Yeah, he gonna have to go to a bigger program. He gonna go somewhere like a Florida State. You got to go somewhere like a Florida where you're gonna be able to get some of that top talent. In the South, if it's Texas or if it's Georgia, Florida, wherever it may be, go to California and get talent. I feel like he's gonna have to change from, and he getting good talent there, but he just can't get over the hump.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So it's location based for
Yes, sir.
for Lane. If you feel like, okay, man, listen. Another topic we didn't talk about, we didn't forget. One of the most overrated teams coming into a year every single year that we got to hear when AP top 25 come out. We got to talk about this Notre Dame Fighting Irish, one of the overrated teams that we overrate every single year, and they go down to Northern Illinois this weekend in a dramatic fashion. This team controlled the pace of the game. This team was able to run the ball. This team was able to play defense. And this team believed that they can go down there to Indiana, Ann Arbor, South Bend, and win that game. South Bend, Indiana, and win that game. And Northern Illinois go in there and snatch their hearts out. And now, what do you think of this Notre Dame team that we hype up every single year as football fans?
I hate it, man. It's just like another team from the Big Ten that they do the same thing with, man. Notre Dame get hyped up like this every year. People want to put them in the top 10. They don't have a good defense. Their offense is not consistent. They keep going in the portal, getting all these guys at quarterback, and it's not working out for them. And I think they got a great coach that's there. But I think they need to switch up their style of offense that they run, and also to defense. These guys keep on trying to run this kind of like an I formation or a power style set, big boy football. But I think they got to get with the program and figure out a way to do this spread offense and just get better athletes, man. I just think that they're not trying to really get in the South too much. I don't know if they just can't get guys to come up there to up there to Notre Dame, but I think they need to get down more in the South and get out by California, Texas, and recruit some of these different athletes from different parts of the country.
Yeah, man. I think that was Marcus Freeman, man. I've been rooting for him. I like him as a coach. He was a great player at Ohio State, man. And to see where he's at right now, especially in that program, is win now. I think who did he lose to? Since he's been there, he lost to Northern Iowa, Northern Illinois. And who did he lose to last year? He lost to somebody. Was it his first year?
His first game, he lost. Didn't they lose about 3 games last year? I forgot. Well, they lost to last year. I can look it up for you, though.
You, hey, right here, this comment right here. Lamont say Notre Dame need to lower their standards. Absolutely.
That's
They
true.
absolutely do need to lower their standards. To get into that school is just probably, if you a kid on the fritz, you know what I mean? To get into that school is going to be tough. It's always been tough to get into that school. It ain't the 80s. It ain't the 90s where they was the same Notre Dame team. They're not in a conference. They play a independent schedule. They play who they want to play. They put who they want to put on the schedule. And then every year they get hyped up and they win all these games. I don't think they can live, but I think they need to get into a conference, get some of this money, and start bringing some of them kids. I ain't saying you got to go get some of these kids with a 2.0 GPA and fighting to get the SAT scores, but you got some guys that got some 2.7s, 2.5s, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That you can get and hit on that might be good character kids, just probably ain't no 3.0 students. And they can get themselves in there, man. You get some of these players to come into your program and do good. Because right now, Notre Dame, they ain't won nothing big since the 90s, if we're being honest.
Yeah. And they lost.
They went to the national championship game and absolutely got blown out by Alabama. I mean, destroyed. It wasn't even close. People had questions for them that year. So, man, I think the expectations for this program is somewhat unrealistic for the type of guys that they bring into their program. Going on right there, man. What do you think of I did a video about this, and I really want to touch on this because it's been a big topic going on ever since last year. And I think it needs to be talked about, and it's the Colorado Buffs and their offense, how they go by processing their offense, how they go by dictating coverage. They come out of 10 personnel every single year. The last 2 years, 10 personnel. If you don't know, is one back, no tight ends on the field, and you got 4 receivers on the field. They either come out in doubles or they come out in trips. And last year, and I spoke on this last year, and some people called me a hater. Some people say, that I don't know what I'm talking about. But to understand football, you have to understand you have to have some form of balance, some form of run game. And the last time that they won a significant game was the first game of the season when they played TCU, and they ran the ball 27 times for 90 yards. Yes, that's number 3.3 yards to carry, but they put themselves in advantageous situations that in the late part of the game, they won a shootout. They ran the ball for 90 yards. Then Shador still threw for 500 yards. So it can't be, we trying to promote Shador to get his numbers up. He can still put up numbers and still have a balanced run game. I seen on the goal line, they scored versus TCU. They brought an extra lineman in, and they scored from the 3-yard line on that drive. 3 or 1 yard line from that drive, and he absolutely blew it up. I think they need to focus on the run game and start getting more creative, start pulling some tackles, start pulling some guards. Like I said in my video, start running some traps, some counters, some misdirections. I ain't seen no jet sweeps, getting Horn on the move, getting Travis Hunter on the move. They got to find other ways to be creative to take some pressure off of Shador, because you can't just drop him back 40 to 55 times a game and expect that line to be in defense mode all game long on their heels. Linemen don't want to pass block. Linemen want to put their fingers in the dirt, and they want to come off the ball. Most linemen want to run block. That's what they do. They want to run block. Who wants to be in attack, getting attacked all game long, and you can't really throw a punch back? So what they linemen want to do is get their butt downhill and start running the ball. And I think once Deion Sanders learns that and starts implementing that into his game plan, they're not going to be successful when they play this top flight competition in the Big 12.
Yeah, but the thing is though, Cruz, I don't know if their model is going to change no time soon, just because of who the head coach is. Deion right now, he just pretty much he want to rack up stats for his son. That's personally what I think. I think he want to rack up stats for his son. I mean, to sit back and this man, throwing the ball 60 dang on there 70 times a game, it seemed like 50, 60, 70 times a game he throwing the ball. Like you said, it's no balance. And it has nothing to do, my opinion, it has nothing to do with black and white thing or nothing like that. But I just think he, like you say, he need to get more balance. Maybe get better coaches around him. Him just having Hall of Famer coaches and stuff like that, that's not helping. He need to really go out there and get some real coaches. Like it's a shame he didn't win in the portal the last 2 years with the kids that I think this guy every year he done on average been getting 40 to 50 kids out of the portal or something like that, pretty much creating a whole new team, and the guys are still not winning, man. So I don't see them improving, getting no better. Like I told you before the season start, I'd be surprised if they win 3 games.
Yeah, you stood on that hill, and to me, coming into the season and looking at their schedule, I think I'm guilty of this. I just thought, man, I think I might have sipped a little bit of Kool-Aid, but I just thought that they can get to 7 wins this year, and the season ain't over. So I don't know if something can change.
It's
But
over.
the thing, hold on, the thing that bothers me is that last year they fired Sean Lewis. Sean Lewis left his head coaching job at Kent State to come to offensive coordinator. Sean Lewis dialed up a great game plan at week 1, and as the season progressed, they got away from keeping the tight end in the block. They got away from some of their motion offense. You know what I mean? So they fired Sean Lewis. They bring in Pat Shermer. Pat Shermer been in the NFL over 30 years. He's an offensive coordinator. He's coached in the NFL. You know what I mean? So how does he? I haven't seen no pro style sets for Shador. He's in the gun all game long. They haven't mixed in no under center stuff. So with you bringing in a pro offensive coordinator, how come there's no pro style plays within the run game to help them out? Everything, and the reason the run game ain't working because they running a zone running scheme. A zone running scheme is when you got your quarterback in the shotgun and they running a zone read. When you running a zone read with Shador Sanders not keeping the ball. So the defensive end not respecting Shador to be able to pull the ball and take it. So the zone running scheme is not going to work. So what you got to do is you got to get some counters, some power coming in and stuff like that to be able to get these guys going and get these linemen on the move and get some block downs, some seals and stuff like that. Moving your tight end and leaving them in to help chip in the block. Instead of going 5-man protection, how about going 6 and 7-man protection and going 3-man routes and stop trying to, they don't even throw screens. They don't throw no quick screens to get, the screen game came from coaches, as you know, Smoke. The screen, a lot of coaches implemented the quick screen game to supplement the run if they felt like they can run. So if I could throw a 1-yard route or a ball behind the line of scrimmage and my receiver could get 3 to 4 yards, guess what? That supplements my run game, and they felt like that was quicker. So they're not even doing that. And that's my only problem. The adjustment was supposed to be made. We was told they got all these guys in the transfer portal. Deion got all his guys in. He's flipped his team over 50 players each year since he's been there. There's no chemistry. There's no continuity. Yes, you got Travis Hunter. You got his 2 sons and him. But other than that, you bringing new guys in every single year. There's no in-season, in-state guys. You done ran all those guys out. You done alienated some of the people at Colorado that they're not talking about. One thing that was talked about from Matt McChesney over there at 0 to 60 that he had a problem with. He graduated from the University of Colorado, played 6 years in the NFL. His problem was that with Coach Prime, that the kids don't know the fight song. That's the thing. How don't you know the fight song? When you first go to school, that's the first thing they tell you. You got to know the fight song. So when we go to at the end of the game, when we go to the crowd, we sing the fight song. At the end of the game in the locker room, we sing the fight song. You got to start instilling some kind of pride, some kind of culture to build. That's how you build something. You just don't bring new people in every day. That's not even a good business model. You got too much turnover in your program. So if you're turning over that much, how you gonna have guys trained to implement what you want done, how you want it done, and how you want to execute it? So I think that's a real big problem with the Colorado system, and I think they're too deep into the transfer portal. Dabo Swinney is having trouble with that, but I also see where Dabo Swinney coming from. I get you want to get some guys out of transfer portal. I'm not wrong. I don't care about the transfer portal, but you need to implement high school guys, train them, get them in your weight program, get them red-shirted, get them acclimated to your system, your model, your personality, your DNA, and then on the back end of that, then go get 4 to 5 transfers in. But you trying to bring in 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You alienating your whole team because you got guys who done been there and who done worked hard and busted their butt for you. And now because the new transfer guy who done came in, he's just going to take my spot and I've been sitting there 2-3 years. No, you alienating your team and you bringing guys in. Obviously, they transfers for a reason. Not all, half of them not going to hit because they couldn't play at their other schools. If they couldn't play at the other schools they was at, you bringing all these guys in, and guess what? Boom. They can't even play for you, and they can't even get it done. That's been my problem with Colorado Buffs. But you can't say nothing like that because we look at Deion Sanders. He's he's the best defensive back that we've ever seen in the NFL. But that got nothing to do with coaching. That got nothing to do with implementing your system, implementing your scheme, implementing what you need for your team to be successful. I think he's leaning too much on his offensive and defensive coordinators, and he's not taking a ham at the reins, and that really shows on the team because the team gonna take up the model of your head coach. They can say what they want by Nick Saban, but guess what? Nick Saban had the pulse of his team, and Nick Saban, if he ain't like something, he told his offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators, this is how we gonna do to try to win games. And you have to check your coaches so they can understand what you want. And I think if it's happening, it's being allowed or it's being coached. It's one or two things. You either allowing it or you coaching it. Mm-hmm. And you ain't got no running game 2 years in a row. You ain't even trying. It's being coached.
Mm-hmm.
Think of that.
Yep. I agree with you, man. I don't think that guy's like I said, man, I don't think Colorado, their model is going to change no time soon, man. So I agree with everything you just said.
What you think so since now we done got off that right there, you say they're going to win. How many games you say they're going to win?
Maybe 3, but I'm still trying to figure out if they beat Colorado State this week. But after Colorado State, I really don't see where they can win a game. They might look up and win one, but I just can't. 3 at the most. That's what I'm saying. 3 most.
Yeah, three at the most. You absolutely. And I would say that if they didn't, there's some teams in the Big 12 that I thought that was probably going to be good, that Colorado got later on their schedule that they might be able to beat. But I think this weekend, Colorado State is a must win. They have to win this game. You can't lose to Colorado State. It's a rival. It's a big-time rival.
I'm sorry. They got Colorado State this week. Then they got Baylor. Then they got UCF. I don't think they're going to win that. They got to play Kansas State. I don't think they're going to win that. Arizona, I don't think they're going to beat. Cincinnati, maybe. Texas Tech is kind of like a maybe. But I think Texas Tech, because that high-power offense is going to give them a lot of problems. So I think anybody with high-power offense going to give them a lot of problems. Utah, they're not going to win. I don't think they're going to beat Kansas, and they're not going to beat Oklahoma State. So that's what I'm saying. I think maybe 3 wins. You know, they might get lucky and get 4, but they ain't going to no bowl game this year.
Okay, so so we're gonna get off Colorado right now. What we're gonna get off Colorado right now. Colorado, we're gonna talk about your Alabama Crimson Tide, who had a scare this weekend.
Yeah,
we had a scare once again 2 weeks in a row. They got all the way down, 5 minutes left into the fourth quarter, and it was a 14-13 game. And from that point on, Alabama took off and showed out with that little bit of time. So what are we going to do about what we're going to talk about your Alabama Crimson Tide this weekend?
Well, you know what? A lot of people don't know, man. You know, I'm a real Alabama fan. So when you're really looking at Alabama, they switched up their entire offensive line this past week. So that was like, for example, one of the guys is going to be a first round pick. That's a guard, was playing left. There was experimenting with him at left tackle. Our current left tackle been out the last 2 weeks with an injury that he sustained doing, I think it was warm up or something like that. We got our right tackle was out, right guard. So we moved our entire offensive line around. But for the Wisconsin game, everybody be back to their normal position and role. But I think we're going to do good, man. The defense looked good when you think about it. I mean, our defense gave up, 1 touchdown the other night. Offense fumbled the ball. But Alabama, anybody that's an Alabama fan, understand it. Alabama always have at least one game like this every year. And then after that, we go on the road. So for me, I'm not tripping, not nervous about it, because I still have confidence that we got one of the best defense and we have one of the best offenses in the country. And then plus at the end of the day, you know, when you look at our quarterback, I think he's in the top 3, top 4 quarterbacks in college football right now. I wouldn't take nobody else over him.
Oh man, hey, listen, Alabama right now, to me, watching Alabama, you are absolutely right. That defense is humming. That defense is coming. That's the strength of their team right now. Offensively, I don't think Alabama hit their stride yet. And it's a new system. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's a new system. I think probably by week 6 or 7, them boys probably be rolling the offense. Offense always takes time. As you know, Smoke, you're an offensive guy. Offense going to take always longer than defense because defense is normally reacting, You know what I mean? Offense is more timing. Linemen got to be on the same page. Receivers got to be on the same. Quarterback got to get his timing. He got to learn the receivers, and the quarterback. People always think quarterbacks, they smart, but it's still a new system for Jalen Milroe. He
Yeah.
out there playing, but he don't know the system because he ain't been in it long enough. So once you know a system, you can honestly know where to go with the ball, and it becomes second nature to you when you're running that system.
Yeah, and I think our offense and overall just team game be a lot better by the time that Georgia game come around. We'll be humming then.
Georgia game, that's gonna be a big time game versus Georgia. But
Yeah.
he say Bama is okay. This will get them players better get close, but you got to realize players turn it on, which is a good thing. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did, Isaac. Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Isaac said something in the comment section. He said something about Isaac said something about I think our secondary. No, he said something about the transfer portal and how Miami did good in the transfer portal. Hey, Isaac, I agree with you that Miami did good in the transfer portal, but Miami wasn't overkill. Miami still got guys who've been in that program, still got guys who've been in that system. Coach didn't come over there and just bring in 50 new guys and tell the other guys, hey, you got to go. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It got to be some kind of balance when you bring in training. You got to keep your guys in that program and then bring in some guys, and that's how you build. It's like free agency. NFL team just can't turn their whole team over every single year and think they're gonna get anywhere. They brought Derrick Henry in. They got rid of some running backs who was injury prone, but they got rid of some linebackers. They brought some new guys in. They brought some new receivers in. You know what I mean? So you still got to have your nucleus of team to have a team to be successful. Right now, so my top 5 teams right now in the NCAA right now is gonna be, like I said before, I'm gonna go Texas, I'm gonna go Georgia, I'm gonna go Alabama 3 because I gotta change. You said something to me and I thought about it. I'm gonna go Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, USC. I had Ole Miss in there before. I'm gonna go because you brought that up, USC, and they've been really looking good to me. And I got to get Lincoln Riley. When you got an offense like that, you're gonna apply pressure. That you're gonna force teams to have to score, and you're gonna put pressure on a lot of offenses to have to score. And for them to have a defense looking the way it's looking right now, it looks completely different than it did last year. He gonna always have a good good offense. So I'm gonna give him 5 right now. What you think of that list? What's your top 5?
I'm gonna go with Texas 1. I'm gonna go Alabama 2, Georgia 3. At 4, who's that? I'm gonna go Ohio State, and then I'm gonna go USC. I'm sorry, I meant Miami. I think what I seen from Miami is good to me, man.
Okay, then. Yeah. Miami.
They got that quarterback, they got a defense, and then also too, just thinking about the conference that they in, the teams they're gonna be playing. I mean, because from here, what Miami just really got to play Florida, and they got
they played Florida already.
I'm sorry, they just got Florida State. Was what I mean. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? So I think man, they're gonna be a tough team, man. And then once they do get in the playoffs, it's gonna be real tough for somebody to beat them.
I like Ohio State. I think Ohio State better than Lamont. I think Ohio State better than USC as well. That's why I had Ohio State at 4. To me, the way it's looking, I got to see how it shakes up. To me, I've been having a funny suspicion that Ohio State gonna be in the national championship game, and there's a possibility that they can win it.
That ain't a bad conclusion, Cruz. Just because their schedule is weak, you know, outside of really Oregon, I don't think they really play anybody else until they get to the. I think where Ohio State gonna run into problems is because their conference is so weak. Unless in Nebraska and them start to be really good and stuff like that. But other than that, I think that if they get in that 12-team playoff, they're gonna have a lot of trouble, just like they do pretty much every year they get in. I think it's going to be a lot different when you trying to just put teams in just because of their names, like Ohio State or Michigan or somebody like that, just because they have that big school name. I think they're going to have to be good, man, because think about it. You get Ohio State playing like an Ole Miss with the style of offense that they have and stuff. I don't think that'd be just a cakewalk. Or playing like a Missouri. Those would be some tough games.
Or Miami. They might have played Miami.
Yeah, or Miami. Anybody like that, man. And you got to think about it. You get it ain't like, think about it. You're going to probably have 4 or 5 teams from the SEC get in.
Yeah.
So for me,
that's what it's shaping up right now.
Yeah. So when people are talking about, like, I know we had the Ohio States and we have the USC and the Oregon, but man, I can't see them. That's a gauntlet they have to run through when they go through the playoffs. You're gonna have to beat the SEC. You're gonna have to beat the SEC to win it.
Yeah. The championship will always go through the SEC. I'm sorry. The team, think about it. The team that has beaten the SEC team has won a national championship. That's just facts. Over the last 15 years, if you don't beat it, you don't have even Florida State, my Seminoles. We had to beat Auburn.
Yeah.
You got to beat the SEC, and that's why SEC is the best conference, because you have to go through them if you want to win.
Yeah.
The team that beat Alabama wins the national championship. That's facts.
Yeah.
And man, we can't hide it. We can't fake it. If you're gonna win a national championship, you're gonna have to beat the SEC school to get there, to hold that trophy up at the end of the year. And that's what brings SEC to their dominance, man. It's just the way it is.
Hey, just say what you really want to say. If anybody want to win it, they got to come through Tuscaloosa. Just really say what you got to say. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to come through Tuscaloosa, baby.
Hey, I
like that list. That list
say his top 5
is
Georgia, Texas, Bama, Ole Miss, Miami.
Yeah. That ain't a bad list. Through 2 weeks, that I don't think that's wrong at all. You can't go wrong with that.
You like that? You like that list right there, Smoke?
Then at the end of the day, too, man, Georgia's still in the last 2-3 years that only lost 2 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I ain't gonna see him try to act like Georgia ain't been dominant. Georgia been very dominant on defense and offense. But I just look at some of the weapons they lost.
Who had 2 losses versus?
Oh, talking about the team in Alabama.
Hey, they 2 losses. And 41 wins. Now they 2 losses come to Alabama. They ain't lost a regular season game in 2 years.
Yeah.
So man, man. So look, man, listen. It's been good tonight. I want to thank everybody who came in and tuned in to the podcast show tonight. Hey, once again, want to thank Smoke for always coming up, doing this thing. We will be back next week. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. Make sure y'all make sure you subscribe, and welcome to the Dawg Cage. Where my dogs at? We will catch y'all on the next screen.